But yeah, another thing that I was thinking about that could end up happening is, let's say Marvin could end up, because Marvin did show up to Kanan's one of his apartment where he do his business at, and he just shot a shotgun through there and rushed in, and of course it cut off there. We don't know what he did afterwards, but maybe maybe Marvin ended up taking out somebody big that's part of Breeze organization, and now Breeze wants blood. It could be a situation where after Kanan finds out the truth, he wants his uncle, and now that Marvin has taken out someone that's close to Breeze, he wants his uncle. So it could be an eye for an eye type situation.
So we're assuming that Breeze is a blood relative of Pop.
Perhaps, but the way they was doing, Snap's doing most of the talking, almost as if he was the blood of him. But who knows? Could be.
Anyways, let's go ahead and get to the final one of the night. Let's talk about episode 3 tonight. So, episode 3 is titled Tricks, and it reads Rock and Marvin launch their new operation as Kanan and Breeze's business grows stronger. Jukebox takes a big risk to protect the family.
Hmm. What's she gonna do? Kill Garcia?
Yeah, but I do think Garcia will be involved with this.
He wasn't in the trailer either.
Yeah, he wasn't.
No law enforcement person was.
And no mention of Lou in any of these synopses.
Right. But I'm pretty sure they did that intentionally.
Okay.
I mean, it could be because he's gone, which I'm still leaning towards that's probably what it is. But it also could be Lou is actually alive, but they're intentionally not putting his name in the synopsis because they want you to believe that he's dead.
Well, that could be the big thing that Kanan did that changes the Thomas family forever.
What?
Somehow getting rid of Lou.
Well, yeah, that's what we were saying. So it's called Tricks, right? The name of this episode is Tricks. Rock and Marvin launch their new operation as Kanan and Breeze's business grows strong. So in order for this to make sense to me, like I said, I believe Rock is gonna end up making the alliance with Pino Bernardi, possibly Flossie, and maybe even potentially Unique, which is a nice little lineup for her to have. They can, you got some very powerful, strong hitters, people that know the game and stuff like that. Breeze and Kanan's them operation is more so younger, but they do got the godfather and godmothers of the game, which is Snaps and Pop on their side. And then, of course, you got Stefano.
Well, now, see, I'm tending to read what it's not saying. So you had Stefano gonna do business with 4 people. Now the next episode we're talking about Kanan and Breeze's business grows stronger. So it's like that's eliminating Stefano, Snap, and
I think they're all still up in there.
Why would you think that? Kanan and Breeze got to eliminate some folks.
But I think that's
Breeze is playing chess.
Sure. But I think it's too early for that to have happened.
I think so. They gotta do a lot.
Fast. They do got to do a lot fast, but I still think it's a tad bit. Now, this is what I think is happening here. Because keep in mind, look at that title, Tricks.
Then look at the last sentence. Jukebox takes a big risk to protect the family.
So what's the risk that Jukebox is taking? The risk that I think she is taking is first,
like I've been saying, like I was going to make an individual video on this, and I still am. It'll be out sometimes tomorrow. But I believe that's why I said I was going to get back to Garcia. I think it's a great possibility she's going to go back to him in order to fish out some information
about what happened with Crystal and Famous, actually. Because Garcia is the detective on both cases, right?
Now, where did that picture come from?
This is from the finale of last season.
Oh, okay.
So keep in mind, this is when he told Juke that where they found Crystal's body is somebody said that they saw somebody coming out the apartment building with the same description. The description was a black woman that looked somewhat like Juke or whatever. So, when Garcia was telling her this, he was assuming maybe Juke had with herself was the one who did it because Crystal and her had beef anyway. But, Juke ended up assuming that Rock was the person that they were talking about. But in actuality, we all know that it was Pop. So she could go back to Garcia and question him more and be like, hey, okay, so who is the person that gave the description? And then if Garcia is able to dig up the witness that says who is the person that described the person, they might end up coming up with some kind of future, something that's significant to Pop that helps Jukebox put the pieces together. And once she does, she probably will tell Marvin. Marvin will probably tell Rock, and they're gonna try to get the information over to Kanan. But Kanan at this point is probably in the state of mind that shoot first and ask questions later. So the only person that Kanan would potentially end up, actually be opening to talking to would be Jukebox because she's the only neutral person in the family that's left, right?
Mm.
So Kanan probably would hear her out and have a conversation with her. And I believe Kanan won't believe her, but something's gonna happen. Maybe even after speaking with Breeze, and Breeze kind of confirms something that makes him put the pieces together. Be like, damn, that shit is the truth. So, like I said, the name of this episode is called Tricks. Well, we know Snaps and Pop is full of tricks. That's all his little ass they've been doing since we've been knowing them. So I think this could be the episode where Jukebox finds out the truth. And once she does, she tells Kanan. Kanan may not actually be able to figure it out completely himself until the next episode. And who knows, that could be the episode Snaps and Pop gets taken out. Maybe. So that would be like the mid-season finale, episode 4. So could it be a situation where the family goes back together, maybe? Perhaps. But if Snaps and Pop was to fall that soon, who would be the next big threat? Because you still got 4 episodes left to cover. So I guess the question here would be: do we think Snaps and Pop will be the main villain of this final season, or will someone else show up after that? Breeze is going to make Kanan feel stupid about everything he has done with Snaps and Pop. Yeah, I could see something like that. Like he kind of lets them know, like, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. My uncle and auntie ugly as hell for real. Like them folks some grimy ass motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I can see him telling them some shit like that. The time is going to follow.
You got these mafia folk, and Teresa Baselli still got a part to play
Yeah.
with Unique, because I still think her and Unique gonna hook up.